All right, boys and girls, welcome once again to the Bass Kayak and Beers podcast on the Paddle and Fin Network. Just a couple of quick intros that I'm going to be doing here for the podcast. As you know, we just got into waypoints. And one of the things about waypoints is we have to comply with certain plugs, certain advertising that it's not necessarily our sponsors, but advertisements we have to be on the show. And I want you to know what we're doing with the podcast. We're trying to grow it by going into waypoints. The money that comes in from the advertising is actually going to go to meetups and is going to go also to the Paddle and Fin Trail. It's going to be used to pay off first place winners in some of the tournaments like the championship and stuff like that. So it's a great thing. When none of us here is making money from this advertisement. And again, it's not. I don't like the word advertisement. There's a lot of it coming up. So basically what we're trying to do and what I'm doing with my podcast, and I've talked to Brian Chillett about it. You're going to hear my couple of commercials in the beginning. We'll have this intro right here. Then we'll hear a couple of 30 seconds commercials, something like that. And then we'll drive into the show. And the rest of the usual sponsorship that you'll probably listen at the end of the show if you want to stick around. But basically, that's what it is. I wanted to apologize, kind of explain it to you guys. So again, we're trying to do this to not only grow the podcast, but grow our trail, which again, it's 100% payoff and getting more money to the anglers that are competing on that tournament. So it's all for a good thing. We always said the podcast is for anglers, from anglers, for kayak anglers. So that's pretty much it. Other than that, we got a great episode like always. You got Joey Miller and Drew Cox. They're from JD Fishing Adventures. We're going to be talking about their social media channel and all the crazy and fun stuff, adventures they have. They're right here in Texas, Central Texas. So we're going to bring it on board and hope you enjoy this episode.
Yak Gadget, made in America, based outside of Nashville, Tennessee. Yak Gadget offers all kinds of storage accessories, quick mount motor mounts, anchor systems, track mounted accessories, even paddles. Go to yakgadget.com and get your kayak decked out for your next trip out on the water.
The 153 Bait Company, based in Troy, Ohio, make everything from plastics to custom painted hard baits. Hook 'em hard and hook 'em often. All of our baits are made to order and all of our hard baits are hand painted to order. So go to the153anglers.com to place your order today.
All right, Joey Miller and
Yes,
Drew Cox,
sir.
how you guys doing?
Doing good. Doing great. Glad to
Thank
be
you
here.
so much for coming to the show. I've heard a lot about you from our friend in common, Jacobs. So he's been telling me about your channel. And I watched a couple of videos. I loved it. I know you guys reached out also. Well, you wanted to be in the podcast, so we're more than honored to guys have you here on our podcast. It's a great, entertaining show, and it'd be a good idea for those people getting involved in kayak fishing. They want to, go down that rabbit hole of YouTube and all that, get some fun stuff, and learn some cool tips and tricks. So. Tell us a little bit about yourself, guys. Who you want to start, Joey or Drew?
All right.
All right.
28 years old. I've been fishing my whole life. I caught my first fish at 2 years old. But I didn't start bass fishing until probably 8 or 9 years ago. I moved to Alabama for like 6 years. And I saw everybody else bass fishing and having a good time. At that point, I was still throwing a spinning rod and catfishing every day, or as often as I could. And I wanted to try something new, so got into bass fishing, and I have not looked back ever since. I've been throwing a bait caster since that day, and now I've got a lineup of rods that I don't even know what to do with.
Nice.
Other than that, man, just the love for the sport. That's my biggest thing. I love fishing. I love spending every minute I can on the water. I have a day job. I hate doing it. I would much prefer to fish every day, but I got to wait till after 5.
Nice. What about you, Drew?
Well, I'm creeping. I'm getting close to 50. And
Big 50?
That's right. I'm getting closer, and
It's going to be a heck of a birthday for you, bud. I'm sorry.
But I spent 21 years as a firefighter paramedic, and I no longer do that. I get the amazing luxury to actually be home with my 3-year-old every day and take him fishing every morning. That fishing session lasts maybe a good 19 seconds until he finds something else better to do. But nonetheless, I was lucky enough to do an early retirement and spend this time, and of course instill the nice things about fishing in the outdoors into my son. So doing that every day, and of course making content and going fishing every day for myself. So and trying to do our best to really get JD Fishing Adventures out there to be known. And I feel bad sometimes for Joey that he has a day job and I get to stay at home. But nonetheless, I think what we're doing and how we're doing it, I wouldn't change a thing. It's been a struggle.
Me either.
But
it's been a hell of a ride.
It has, and it just started. So we've only been at this 8 months.
Since October, I think October 5th of 2020. I want to say that.
So it's been a short duration and a lot of hard work, but we're up for it.
Here we are.
How did the team up came about? Because Drew, you say you're around almost the big 5-0, and Joey, you said 28. So there's not a huge age discrepancy, but you're not like college buddies or high school buddies. So how did that connection came up?
So I'm 46, and I'm staring at 50. But there was no frat house relationship previous to this. No college time, no work colleague, no nothing.
It's actually a weird story, to be honest.
Maybe short.
The Reader's Digest. Okay. I've always wanted to do this, and I decided one day I'm going to do it. October 5th, 2020, and my dad knew him from previous situations. We won't talk about any of that, but previous situations. And he said, "Hey man, get in contact with this guy if this is really what you want to do." And so I did, and it blossomed into JD Fishing Adventures, and that's where it's been ever since.
Yeah. Did you a little bit more of the backstory? So at that time,
Reader's Digest,
but it will be short, I promise. So I won't go off on a tangent right now. But I was doing some pro staff positions for a handful of other companies at the time. And at the time, I was in the position of helping do some research and development with some new baits and stuff like that. And some weren't really necessarily new, but new name. And so I was doing some social media stuff. I was doing a lot of commercial photography for the baits and the products and stuff like that. And happened to meet his dad, who's also really big into fishing as well. So, and the contacts were made, and that's how it started.
Yeah, I texted this guy, and I'm like, "Hey man, this is something I really want to do. I really want to get into this as deep as I can. I want to get into, professionally fishing or tournament fishing or the social media game, the whole nine. And I hope you can help." And then 2 days went by and I didn't hear anything. And I'm like, certainly this guy's never going to text me back, right? This is a big wig. I'm never going to hear anything. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, he texted back. He's like, "Yeah, man, I can absolutely help you out. Give me a shout. We'll chit chat a little bit." And for a month, 2 months, something like that, we did our own things, our own pages, our own promotions, and grew our own separate deals. And then we just kind of decided one day that we were going to come together, and we merged pages, did the whole Facebook deal that took forever.
Well, the funny thing was, during that time period, we were fishing together every single time. Yet trying to create each one of our own genuine, innate content. Yet we're side by side fishing the whole time. Because I had my requirements, if you will, how many posts I wanted to do a day on mine and his as well. And it's this is not right. Why you're sitting beside me? Why are we have 2 separate pages, twice the amount of work?
Right.
Where
It's way funnier when we're together anyway.
I mean, for me it is. Yeah. I mean, I'm funny.
So how does that dynamic work? Now that you mentioned that, how does that dynamic work? Which one brings like the knowledge? Which one brings like the humor? How does that work? Well, how do you bounce off of each other? Like, who feeds out? I mean, feeds out of whose energy and all that.
It really goes both ways. I mean,
some days he's on point. When we go out, like we're on the water and he's on the fish immediately, and he slays them all day long. And I can't
except when I don't.
Well, except when you don't. Some days he doesn't catch any fish. This is the crappie jig master, by the way. Just anyway, different story. As far as the dynamic goes, I think we kind of we get along so well. It's always a good time. And no matter what, the recordings that we get, I go over them all. I take all the video footage from whatever day it is, and I watch the whole thing. And a lot of times my boss is looking at me like I'm crazy because I'm listening to it in my headphones, and I'm dying laughing, right? I can't put some of it in the video.
No. Most of it.
But
to be appropriate,
it's hilarious. It's always funny. And then in some of our videos, you'll hear me. And I'm almost always the one to ask, like, we're struggling, it's hot. Drew, the tournament fisherman and you, where are the fish? What do we do? How do we find a pattern? Like, where's it at? And he'll spout some crazy stuff off, and then all of a sudden we start doing it, and it's like, fish. And I'm like, okay, that was good. Let's spread that out a little bit and see if we can capitalize on it and make them a little bigger. And it's just kind of...
You're like, why did I have to ask you for that?
I know. We only went all day without fish.
3.5 hours.
So do you do any tournaments yourself? Have you gone into dip into?
Yes, I would love to do more. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm bound by a job for now. But I did a cast tournament.
Month and
a half ago, something like that. The redfish tournament in Galveston. Terrible. Totally terrible. It rained on us all day long. I was soaking wet. Like, salt water was it was bad. I would love to dive way, way, way deep into the tournament series. It's just, as currently I'm bound by a job and I have to work every third Saturday. So it makes it difficult to kind of plan a tournament series around a job.
What about you, Drew?
I did tournaments in the past. And I say in the past, it was way back when I was in the fire department. Because back in the fire department, I worked 2 days a week.
Okay.
And so I had a lot of flexibility, a lot of leeway. I can go practice. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And we're talking back in,
Go ahead, show your age.
Show my age. So this would be way back in 1996. Fishing the Masters Eastern Division Pro-Am.
Okay, so we're talking about boats there.
Yeah. I realized that back then, it took away some of the fun. It really did. When you're paying $1,500 for an entry fee, it changed the complete dynamics of fishing, and it took away the fun, and it took away why I used to go fishing. And so I got out of it after it took too long to figure out, and took a bunch of my money. But nonetheless, there was a lot to learn from it. Now at this point, coming back into tournament fishing, I think our idea is, like, we like to fish like one tournament a month, if you will. It can be a local tournament, it can be a regional tournament, whatever. And at the same time, we're not upset if we don't place in the money. We're literally out there to try a new spot. Maybe it's not even a new spot, but try a spot with new people, meet some other people out there fishing, and of course, with any of this, I mean, you get together with a bunch of other people that are out there fishing, you're bound to learn something. I mean, I have forgotten more than I'll ever know. So it's ridiculous when it comes to fishing, when it comes to the innovation of the industry, how fast it changes from one week to another. I mean, from one body of water to another. I mean, we can go out, shoot video one day, and absolutely slay some fish on a lake, show up 16 hours later at the same place and get skunked. So
it's craziness.
I hate that part. Because then you have to figure out what's plan B for today's content.
Yeah, what's today's video going to be about, Drew? Like,
I guess it's going to be on kayak maintenance.
So did you guys got a chance to, I know it's, I'm trying to think when this episode's coming out. So it's coming out on Tuesday, June 15th. Did you get a chance to watch a little bit? I know it wasn't televised, but keep tabs on the Kayak Bass Nation Kayak Series, the championship or the national championship.
Oh, I didn't.
I saw some tidbits of it. But, I think from a newsfeed standpoint, it was bombarded with the classic, and essentially the classic overshadowed any other news media that was out there. But I mean, Hank Cherry won 2 years in a row. It's somewhat some big news right there, and he's a good guy. So
yeah.
But no, I haven't. We haven't been able to keep up as well as we wanted to with most of the trail series. But we've had a lot of discussion, especially in the last few months, as to what specific series actually that we
want to dive into,
and really want to stay more involved, because there are so many series out there that exist. It really comes down to, and they all have their different rules. And so you really got to sit down and read the rules and see, and of course look at the lakes and see what they're fishing to really see what's going to be better tailor-made for you, if you will. So
especially Texas, considering it's kind of like, I mean, it's going to sound arrogant for whoever is not from Texas, but really is. Texas is, in my opinion, the mecca for bass fishing. Tennessee can, make some type of claim of it. I mean, Alabama, I'm sure they'll make their claim for it.
It's so, in my opinion, it's Texas, Alabama, and California.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's
definitely.
That's
and California.
I don't know.
The thing about California and Florida, like, to me, you can find the biggest bass in Texas, California, and Kayak. But in Florida, you can probably find bigger and probably easier to fish than California. The thing is, especially in Texas. The thing is not, I put Texas because of the culture that goes with it. Like, you don't go to Florida and you see all these people bass fishing. You don't go to California and you get this big culture of bass fishing. They're there, but I think the culture with the combination of size and quality of bass here is what puts Texas, above the rest. Alabama too. Alabama's another great place. But
I agree, because I think when you present this idea to somebody who's knowledgeable of bass fishing, they're familiar with the topic, whatever it may be. You say California, they say, I think of people catching bass with trout baits. You say Florida,
they're 12,
and they say
18 pounds.
The only thing they say is, I think people are catching bass at Lake Okeechobee, because that's the only lake that comes to mind when you say Florida bass fishing. And then you say Texas, and they go, lots of big bass.
Yeah, everywhere.
Everywhere.
We just saw these guys just go off on Possum Kingdom. And congratulations, if I haven't mentioned it already, I should have. Mark Pendergraft from Fort Worth, Texas, won the Bass. I always forget the name. So many Bass Masters Classic, whatever. Bass Nation Kayak Series National Championship. Mark Pendergraft, I think it was 209 inches in 2 days. So that was amazing. And I think the second day he never left the boat ramp on the second day. That's the craziest part. He stayed at the boat ramp the whole 8 hours. And he caught, I think on the second day he caught what 110, 112, something like that. On the second day, best 5.
Wow.
So that's the thing about it. And that was in Possum Kingdom, which used to be Texas' best kept secret. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not between that and OHIV. But what are some of the, well, first of all, let's go back a little bit to your channel, because I want audience to know what they can expect from JD Fishing Adventures. Describe what JD Fishing Adventures is all about.
Your turn.
Essentially, I mean, 2 goons coming together, having a good time. We're trying to tell you our best ways that we catch fish, our best techniques that we catch fish, the places that we would go, the time of the day. You know, if it's super hot, it's this is what I would do versus some of the other people that just fluff you and catch fish.
Yeah.
As far as just JD Fishing Adventures goes, I mean, it's just me and Drew acting a fool, going out and catching fish, hoping to put out something cool, and enjoying life as a fisherman should.
Yeah, I think a big thing that we're able to offer is that we offer 2 points of view. You know, of course, there's thousands of channels out there, thousands of them, where you get one point of view from one person because that's their page, that's their channel. And sometimes we agree. I don't know why, but sometimes we agree.
Most time we bigger like married people.
Yeah. But
it's glorious for video.
The cool thing is like from a fishing standpoint, on a video, on an Instagram clip or reel or whatever it may be, we're able to show for that day what's working, what's catching fish this day. But I can show you
2 totally different perspectives.
I can show you 2 perspectives, 2 techniques, 2 ideas, and yet they're both working as a pattern. One might work better than the other as a pattern, but yet we're providing choices to somebody. You know, so for somebody that, hey, like I work a 9 to 5, I've got maybe 2 hours, maybe an hour, and that's it on my lunch break or after work. What can 2 things can I pick and try and go catch fish today? You know, for that person that's short on time. And so we're able to offer that. And I don't think that's something that you see very often. And then at the same time, I mean, I think we're both rather self-deprecating and hilariously funny. I mean, I am at least, but you know, we take our fishing seriously, but yet at the same time, you got to have fun with it.
Oh, definitely the first double up.
If you can't enjoy this, if you can't enjoy this, I mean, then there's no use in making it because.
And for those out watching on our YouTube channel and on Waypoint TV, I'm just sharing their profile on YouTube, JD Fishing Adventures, some of the stuff. What has been your favorite video that you guys have shoot together? Like, what's been your most memorable, the one you enjoyed the most?
Well, so that's kind of funny. The reason that's kind of funny is because Drew here has camera problems.
Describe that camera problem. Is it the camera or is it the cameraman?
No, it's the camera. Well, I say that most of the time it's the camera.
I mean, I finally got through the warranty program. They finally just said, okay, forget it. We're tired of trying to fix the software. We're just going to send you a brand new camera. And so like 2 weeks ago, they finally sent me a brand new one after a year of struggling. But nonetheless.
So most of what's on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram is videos. Yeah, from a video standpoint, is me. Yeah. Simply just me because I can't get this guy on camera because he doesn't have one. And then now we have
I'm going to put that on you, Joey, because you have to teach the old man how to work social media.
Well, it's not that. The man knows social media better than a lot of people that I know.
I'm playing with you. I'm 47, by the way. Just turned 47 last week. So,
well, you know your social media pretty well. Look at you. But no, from a video standpoint, Most of what's on there is just my recordings, which that will change as of yesterday. We got a bunch of footage from the lake that we were at, so that should come out probably next Monday or Tuesday. I've got one supposed to drop tonight. My most memorable video of us is the first double up video. Now, all that was shot on my GoPro because homeboy didn't have a camera. But it was stupid funny. My wife convinced me to take a pair of jeans and turn them into Daisy Dukes. So that's also in the video.
Yeah. Parental advisory suggestion.
There's nothing like negative. It's just my pale white legs. Anyway, no, it's hilarious. It's funny when me and him get together. We act a fool and we catch fish, and it's just all laughs.
I think probably my favorite one so far, and I was there, but the video happened, and I was probably 400 yards away on another section of the lake, and we had just met. And it was one of our first trips we'd done together. And I want to say it was like late October, early November. And Joey decided to roll the kayak and jump in the lake. Oh. So, and I had no idea that it actually happened because I was so far away, I didn't hear it.
I knew it all happened.
So we'd met up at another point in the lake, kept fishing and whatnot. And then when we got out at the ramp, I noticed he's soaking wet. I'm like, I'm wearing a sweatshirt. It was kind of chilly.
Yeah, it was cold. It wasn't chilly. It was cold. The water was like 50 degrees. I don't
know. What just happened? I mean, do you have an accident or something? He's like, oh no, I was over there and I rolled the kayak and I lost this and I lost this. I'm like, where was I at? But,
I think that's on there. That should be on there.
I think it was like one of the very first ones.
Yeah, I had to edit a lot of it because I had a buddy with me.
It was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious because I was pretty warm and dry after the fact.
I was frigid.
Yeah.
I was cutting glass through my shirt. It was terrible.
It was cold.
It was terrible.
That's probably one of my favorite ones. But of course, the one that most recent, 3 weeks ago, the double up that we did.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one's hilarious. I mean, that is a typical.
Yeah, that's a typical day for us on the water.
And like what you don't see in that video is like I had to get on my hands and knees and stretch out as far as I could to the nose of the kayak to get the fish because I had the kayak loaded with 19 rods and not enough rod holders. And as the fish came up and jumped, the line caught another lure on another rod that was entwined with a bunch of crap. And it didn't work out very well. It was like a really crazy yoga move to get the fish.
Yoga move.
And at my age, with all the hardware I have in my body, it did not.
Of course, yesterday we pinned 2 up against trees. I had a 5 pinned up against a tree. And I couldn't move. Like, I had to scream over my shoulder, like, Drew!
He couldn't move. So I came and got the fish. And yet, I don't know, 15 minutes later, I get one up underneath the cypress tree, and it was stuck. And
I tried.
Joey couldn't for me, though.
You didn't have it pinned as well as I did. What do you want me to say?
Yeah.
This is our lives on a day-to-day basis.
That's pretty cool, man. What has been your most influential social or content creator out there that you like, not necessarily copy, but you think, okay, this is a kind of style or kind of like the general idea where I want to, move this along into the next phase? What would you say has been your biggest influence for either, if it's different one, then, what's been for you, Drew, and what's been for you, Joey?
Yeah. But I think there's 2 different ones for me. One, I know their name. The other one, I actually don't. The first one being a YouTube channel that popped up in my feed, and I still don't know to this day who the person was. But he had posted a video of him taking his kayak fishing down off some dusty dirt road in his pickup truck. And at that time, I was really struggling on trying to get ready to do some video to post the first video. And that seemed like, for me, that was like an eternal struggle, was like, because no video was going to be good enough to post. And yet this guy just went out there. He's like, yeah, I just picked up this GoPro camera at Best Buy 20 minutes ago, and we're going to go fishing and make a brand new video. I was like, so I've been struggling for 6 months, and this guy buys a camera 10 minutes ago, and he's already making his first video. I'm an idiot. And that gave me like drive to try to move forward and actually make a video. Because at that point, you're like, many of your videos are going to be horrible in somebody's eyes.
All mine are.
Right? And you're never going to be able to get better at your videos until you make a lot of bad ones. Yep. And over time, as you do the trial and error process and learn and make adjustments, they're not going to get better until you do it. And so that was one of those pages where I was like, oddly enough, the guy has no idea, but that was inspirational. And then another one, the second one that has been truly inspirational, because I feel like the guys are extremely genuine, and that's Tactical Bassin.
Yeah.
Matt Allen and Tim Little, I think they run somewhere like just over 500,000 subscribers, and yet to me, it's mind-boggling to me that they don't have 1 million. I think because of the information that they come out, they spend a tremendous amount of time in making their videos. They do a crazy amount of testing, which I don't have the patience for that. I mean, yeah. I honestly don't. I want to go catch fish. I don't want to videotape for 5 hours how the lure worked underwater and select the best one.
No, that's my job.
I mean, I'm actually just going to click on their video and see which one works.
Yeah.
So I think for a couple of guys like them who started in their teens as well, those guys are best friends, and they just go fishing and have a good time. For many aspects of their channels, they were inspirational for me as well. What about you? What are your? I'm sure his are completely different, though.
To be honest, I really don't have that many. So I used to watch a lot of YouTube, and it wasn't just for entertainment. It was to learn a little bit, but I kind of did more of teach myself how to throw a bait cast or teach myself how to catch a bass. Of course, my buddies were there that went bass fishing that helped me along the way, of course, but I didn't really watch YouTube just for that. It was more of like a kind of a time filler. Now, I did have those ones that I watched that I don't really watch that much anymore, simply because I just don't have the time. Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of YouTubers come up and then fail because they aren't putting in the time or the effort to make a quality video or get on the water and go catch the big fish, or make sure it's just right. And like he was saying, my videos aren't great. Our videos aren't great.
I didn't say your videos aren't great.
Our videos aren't great. They'll get better though. We're fresh at this. And the one that's supposed to drop tonight is much better than the one that dropped last week and the week prior. Yeah. So, as far as the inspirational goes, he's a big inspiration to me simply because he's out busting his tail every day with me, catching fish, making content, and making it happen. He's got the contacts, he's got the information. He's one of the best fishermen that I know. And
I agree.
Anyway, long story short, I don't really have very many inspirational YouTubers anymore. I just don't have the time. Making my own videos, working 7 to 5 every day, and then sometimes 6 days a week, and then trying to create content from 5 to 9, and then edit and take care of the kiddo and take care of the wife, and then eat, go to sleep, and do it all again. I just don't have the time to watch it anymore.
One thing add those. I think there are, and I can't name names because it would be horrible. There are a handful of pages that I will watch because I want to know what not to do.
I know what you mean.
I do watch those.
I feel like there are some groups out there that alienate some other groups, and whatever. I do keep track of those because I want to ensure that those are not things that get repeated. So
you can get drawn into different areas where you look back and it's like, that is not what I intend. That's not who I am. That's not what I wanted to do. This is not the one that I want to project myself. And there's that balance of like, to what extent am I willing to compromise what I stand for in order to get more viewers and especially sponsors and stuff like that? Because that really helps out the cost. Very rarely you see that this many guys live on this, making money on this. And I have a lot of respect for content creators, regardless, in the sense that you could be easily making money on other things. With the amount of time that you're spending, you can be making more money doing something else. And I kind of like chuckle every time somebody mentions, like, doesn't know fishing or doesn't know kayak fishing, because it's like makes it believe like, oh, these YouTubers, like this guy's, what do they do? Fish all day. I chuckle because I'm thinking, you really don't know how hard this is. Like, I personally don't do YouTube channels, something that I've kind of wanted to get involved in, but I have a lot of respect for those that make a career out of it, because it is a lot of work. And then a lot of stress where it's like, damn, if I don't catch a fish, this is like 8 hours of footage that it's going to be like, what? B-rolls and just little posts on Instagram.
This guy records 12-minute clips continuously. And then he sends me all the footage, or I take the SD card and I download all the footage, and I'm like, well, first off, it took 12 hours to download that footage. Thank you for that.
Because it was a 1 terabyte card.
Second, now I have to watch 12 hours of footage to fix this video. I appreciate that.
It is, I think you're right, though. I mean, that is one of those things that people don't see, is how laborious it is. It is so labor intensive.
Yeah.
And if you go out, your friends, your family, you're like, they see you go out, you're gone 8-12 hours and you're out there fishing, and they're like, how'd you do it? And you're like, yeah, I got skunked. I didn't catch any fish. The problem is you have to go to plan B. Hopefully you have a plan B, because now what you thought that you were getting a lot of good content for the day, and you were out there working it, you're in the grind. Where's your content now?
Mm-hmm.
And if you deep dive far enough into it, and you have to make content, you have to do posts, you have to do storylines, you have to do shorts, so you can maintain that you're in the algorithm, so you can get that reach, and you can grow your channel, grow your page, whatever it is. You're stressed out now, and you're stressed out the whole day you're fishing, not catching anything, because you're like, what am I gonna do?
I don't stress until about halfway through, and we haven't caught it.
Well, I usually don't stress because I have Joy catch the fish and do the video. So,
but it is funny because I look at guys like example, like Russ Snyder, who's has a lot of success on the tournament, and other guys out there, and you think like, man, these guys are so easy for them to catch 5 fish. They should be working like posting videos. Other than Christine Fisher, I don't see a lot of them posting videos, and doing a little bit of content myself with the podcast and a little bit of Instagram and doing tournament fishing. What I've learned is like the guys that are really good at the tournament are not social media content creators because they don't have time for it. Like, in order for you to be that consistently where you're going to be in the money, you're not always going to win, but you're consistently in the money, catching the check, even if it's not first place. It's because you don't spend time, hours editing and trying to record. You just focus on honing your skill. That's a big difference. It's like, people are like, oh, that guy costs so much fish. Why is he not making YouTube videos? He could make extra money. Yeah, he could, but you know how much an effort he has to put into it. And if you
It's
don't do it
very
yourself, you can just
time-consuming.
record it and give it to an editor. But that costs us money. So that's now money coming out of your winnings, which you have to pay for hotels, you have to pay for gasoline, you have to pay for equipment. So it's not easy. It's not easy, and it's made you respect. And I also respect a lot what you're talking about tactical bassing, because they're true to what they want to do. It's like, this is what we want to do. If you don't want to watch it, if you're looking for some type of clickbait, you're not going to find it here. We don't care.
Yeah.
We're here to teach.
No,
And I have a lot of respect for that.
Yeah, and that's one of my. I think that's a big, really good point to make. Going to that clickbait piece is that everybody's time is valuable. So be respectful as a creator and don't create clickbait, because you're alienating the people that follow you then, and you really put them in a position of, do I continue to watch this knowing that maybe the next one too is going to be clickbait and it's going to anger me, or do I just delete it and no longer follow them? Because I've been in those positions. I'm busy. In the middle of daytime, I'm busy chasing a 3-year-old around. But literally from 8 o'clock at night till 2 o'clock in the morning, that is my social media grind. And that's typically when I go to bed, is around 2 a.m. Don't waste my time and give me clickbait. I think that does the people that follow you and respect you, I think that does a disservice, and it makes them mad, and puts a bad taste in everybody's mouth. I mean,
I think it draws in the wrong crowd. In my opinion, it's like, okay, you're gonna get a lot of views at the beginning, but you're gonna lose the respect of the community. And I see social media content creators, and I think a lot of people know what I'm talking about, without saying names, but they get upset. There's that, like, they're not happy. They're not happy because they're not getting the respect for the bass fishing community. We're not getting the respect of the bass fishing community because what you're putting out there has nothing to do with bass fishing. You act a fool boarding a flight. You get kicked out of the flight because you didn't want to put your camera away. You got kicked out of a marina because you're banging jigs against boats, and owners are getting upset. That has nothing to do with fishing. That brings no value. And I think what happens, and I've said this on my podcast before, is you see kids out there thinking, oh my God, so-and-so is making, it's getting very popular doing this. And they go out there, and that's my biggest gripe. When you go out there and you purposely go into private property to try to get kicked out, or do golf clubs, they say, hey, have you rated golf clubs? It sounds funny and it sounds cool. But at the same time, I look at it, it's like, this is people that are paying to go play golf, and you're interrupting their day, to unwind, and enjoy what they're doing. I would hate, if I'm out kayak fishing, that somebody comes in with a jet ski, is making jet ski videos, and it's ruining my fishing experience just so he can get more clickbaits. That's if you're gonna do that, don't expect the kayak fishing and bass fishing community, or fishing community, the serious fishing community, to take you seriously, because it's not about fishing; it's about you and your ego being showcased.
It gives us all a bad name. I mean, it gives all of us a bad name. I'm a mechanic by trade, okay, and I'm the first one that will tell you mechanics have this cloud hanging over their head that we're all thieves. I'm not a thief. I fix cars, and I fix them for cheap. That's what I do. I don't like taking people's money. And it's the same thing with bass fishing, or with the social media grind. I don't trespass. That's not what this is about. That's disrespectful, first off. Second off, you're right. If you're going to a golf course with the intent to get kicked out, like, it's going to be great on social media for like a day. But in the long run, you just look disrespectful.
Well, and then just do us all a favor in the fishing industry and change your page name to something not related to fishing. But I mean,
so acting the fool.
And that's the unfortunate part. I think a lot of the younger followers are somewhat impressionable, and that's where you get a majority of your feedback. That's where you get a majority of your reach, your follows, your interaction, your engagement. When you do stuff like that, when you post a video or whatever it may be of, hey, here's a sign, it says no trespassing, You think we can last more 6 minutes back here? Let's find out. And you're like, I mean, I've seen more stupid things on YouTube. I just don't know what it was yet. So, and those things frustrate me, because like, well, you'll meet somebody new, or you'll meet somebody out when you're fishing, and they're like, oh, you have a YouTube channel or an Instagram. You're on social media fishing, and you're like, yeah, and they're like, oh, so how often do you go fish a golf course or go trespassing? And
so I want to touch on that for a second.
Don't.
Go.
As far as like the golf course stuff goes, when somebody that's a content creator posts something like that, how do you keep sponsors? How do you keep pro staff deals?
I don't care.
How do you do any of that?
And that's my. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Well, because like we're Daiwa pro staff, okay? I've stood behind Daiwa forever, and that's not a sellout. I was using them well before I started social media, right? And I've always loved them. That's what I've always thrown. Matter of fact, that's what all of my gear is. But I feel like if Daiwa were to see me posting a video that was like, let's see how fast we can get kicked out, that's not good publicity. That's bad.
That's
like,
horrible.
What are you doing? How do you keep a sponsorship that way?
Well, look at it this way, and I'm not gonna argue with success, but when you look at it, and obviously I'm not gonna name names, but everybody's gonna
right.
You see a company, an up and coming company that nobody's heard about, and is trying to build a brand, and they're saying, I'm going to capitalize on this millennials, his kids. Now, I shouldn't say millennials because I don't want to group anybody, and I hate labels, so scratch that. I'm not going to say millennials. These young kids getting views, right? So they're like, whatever you're doing, we're buying into it because we want to bring, and in a sense, it's a good way because now when I was growing up, there's a point in my age where it's like, yeah, fishing is boring or fishing is old people sport. We're now, and I'll give credit to that. Now you see a lot of kids going like, oh yeah, this is cool. Like, yeah, when I was that age, it was not cool to go. It was cool when you was your dad, you're 5-10 years old. So I'll give credit to that. They have gotten a new age demographic to come up to the sport, and that does bring other companies and other investors, and the sport grows and the money comes into the sport. That's great. But the problem is this company saying, hey, I want to get known. Most of the what's out there, the Brian Latimers, the KVDs, the got so many names, Greg Swindells, they're already being taken by these big companies, and these big companies have them. And then say, we're gonna get this bunch of kids on YouTube because now YouTube, they're getting millions of views, and we're gonna bankroll them. We're gonna get them on our team. And if you look at that company right now, look at where they are now. Is that company gonna be in the market for professional anglers, whether it's kayak anglers or bass anglers, fishing the FLW or the Major League Fishing or the Bassmasters? No, you don't see those products out there. And they're like, fine, you guys don't want our products. We're going to concentrate on this market. And that's what they're doing. Now that they're bigger, and you see this company that is now getting bigger, now you see that whole clickbait being cut back a little bit. Because then you lose credibility. Because like you said, Daiwa, Abu Garcia, Shimano, they're not going to go for that. They're established company. It ruins their credibility. But a company that's like, hey, we have, not to say no choice, but we got to get our name out there. And once we get our name out there, we're going to clean this up a little bit. And that, again, I'm not going to argue with success because it has worked. I mean, when you look at what this certain companies have done with like, yeah, where did this company come from? Where does this company that's challenging the establishment come from? It came from there, and credit to those kids that have made their kind of like their empire, so to speak. Sure. That's a little bit of a big word, but have made their name on it. I mean, credit for them. I'm not going to argue with their success. But there comes a time where it's just like, if you want to be taken seriously, you're going to have to act more seriously. You're going to have to mature as a company and as a social content creator. I mean, that's the best way I can describe it.
I'm going to start mature and immature. I don't know I don't want to go down that little rabbit hole. I'll take as long as it takes to build a following.
Yeah. That's the best way. That's when you get that real, like,
I want
real
to
follow, like tactical basketball.
Yeah, I think,
yes.
and I think that's always been an easy thing for us, is that, look at the reality of it. Don't go and try and take a shortcut, because it will take you down the wrong road. You're gonna end up getting subscribers and followers. They're gonna be the wrong ones, because they're not going to be there for the duration. And they're not going to be the ones that you want to engage with you.
Yeah.
So I think for us, that's been an easy road, easy decision to make. And, from a pro staff position as well, that's also easy, because a lot of times it comes down to look at those products. For us, it's always been products that we use. We are also field staff for Monster Bass, which kind of leads us down another road. And that, a lot of people say, well, I don't want to get a monthly subscription to something, because I know what lures I want. I'll just go buy them. I got to tell you what,
I've had a lot of crazy new ones come out of Monster Bass box.
I've been fishing for a long time, and
matter of fact, that came out of the Monster Bass box.
Yeah, and the great thing about anybody's subscription is that you'll find smaller bait companies that actually make really good products.
Yeah.
Whereas you're not going to find that at your big, brick and mortar retail store. You're not going to find that at a big, online
Bass Pro Shop or stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you get to find these smaller entrepreneurs and these smaller mom and pop shops that make some great baits, and they push down the fish, and the great thing is, like, some of these people, you can call them and talk to the guy who poured the baits for you.
Yep.
And we've now ended up with a handful of those where we get stuff custom made, custom painted, whatever it be, and that's really cool that you're able to make that connection. And with Monster Bass at the same time, people say, again, I know what I need. I don't need them to tell me what lures to fish. I gotta tell you what, many times I've gotten a bag or a box. We're into the bags now. And you open it up, you're like, I thought about that one, but I didn't buy it. But now it's in the bag, I'm going to go use it. And then lo and behold, you go use it, and it puts you on some fish. So it also pushes your comfort zone sometimes.
Yeah.
It challenges yourself.
I didn't buy it.
Yeah.
Or at the end of the day,
we sometimes we can get stuck into that, like, chatterbait rut, where you're like, I'm gonna throw in chatterbait because it's the best bait out there, and you get stuck on that rut, and then you don't grow as an angler. For me, when I go into kayak fishing, and people fishing and kayak fishing in general, people go into fishing for different reasons. Some of them is like, hey man, I'm not interested in being this knowledgeable and spending too much on bait. I just want to go out there, maybe catch a few, and just spend time on the water. If that's all you want to do, that's fine. Don't let anybody shame you into doing anything different.
Of course.
Some of them want to compete. Hey, I want to be great at a tournament. I want my name to be known. I want to hoist the Bassmaster Trophy or the Hobie BOS Trophy or the KBF Trail Trophy. And some of them are just like, I just want to be good because I want the challenge of becoming better. So it's whatever whatever gets you on the water, go with it. And at the same time, if you want to, whether it's for yourself, you want to get better, or for you want to get into tournaments, that's a good idea. And I also would tell people, like, when they're starting off, those boxes can be pretty cool, in the sense that it forces you to I already bought it, might as well try it. And every now and then you get something like, you know what? I never seen this bait, and this bait works great.
Well,
and I'm going to keep using it. Yeah.
I think the other great thing about them is, so you have a subscription to it. You get the bag, the box, whatever manufacturer that you're using. You open it up, and you're like, I've never seen this bait. I don't know how to use it. You can go on YouTube, Google it, and there are so many videos on how to run through, how to use the bait, how to, what rod reel you should use, all that kind of stuff. And so it it's a really good gateway drug to fishing.
Yeah.
Right. No, it's definitely, to me, I'm all about going as deep as that rabbit hole takes me. I want to learn what's the new bait. I want to know what is my limit of my talent, of my growth and my talents.
Paycheck.
That's what I love it. What?
Yeah.
The wallet,
the whole paycheck, the wallet, the truck, the house. That's the end of the rabbit hole.
that's a little bit.
Yeah, pretty much.
I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm working on it. Close. I'm working on it.
That's pretty cool. Well, guys, I've had you for almost an hour here, and I know it's kind of late. Real quickly, I know that you have your sponsors. Tell us, I'll give you a few minutes to, thank who you want to thank, your sponsors, family members, anybody you want to thank. And once again, tell us where everybody can find you, locate you, and what's next for JD Fishing Adventures.
Well, I think the biggest thing is speaking for both of us, we really want to thank our friends and family, first and foremost. They're the ones that gave us the push, the support, the motivation to actually do this. And then, without arguably a second is, of course, all of the people that follow us, that subscribe, that support us, that engage with us, that see us, when we're out fishing or whatever. Absolutely thank them, because if it wasn't for them as well, I mean,
we wouldn't be where we are.
No, we absolutely wouldn't be. So, and to the pro staff opportunities that we have and the sponsorships that we have. With Daiwa, with Monster Bass, Tech Baits, Southbound Rods,
Hoodoo Sports.
Hoodoo Sports has been an amazing for our kayaks. They definitely, when we came on with Hoodoo Sports, they absolutely made us feel like family.
Absolutely.
And
they're phenomenal guys. If anybody's in the market for a kayak, I mean, the boat itself is phenomenal, but the customer service is even better. So they definitely brought us in. So
all three of those, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to put all three of those at number one.
Agreed.
And so more to come from us. I mean, we have more trips every single week.
You get to see my face every day.
Likewise. So, I send selfies all the time. No, I couldn't spell selfie last week, but there is definitely more to come from us. I do have some international travel coming up for some special international fishing, and at the same time, we've got some more domestic trips coming up for smallmouth and bass fishing, catfishing, and gar, and everything else.
Throw a little bit of spice into it.
Yeah, change it up. Provide the people that support us with a variety out there. You can't. Yes, we're in Texas, but gosh, you got to leave to really
eventually. Eventually, the bass fishing in Texas just gets kind of low and slow, and you just got to go out and do something else.
You can only catch so many 10-pounders.
I mean, I've only caught.
Never gets old, though. Never gets old.
Unless my scale's off, and then I broke double digits.
Yeah. So we again though, Armando, man, we can't take the opportunity from you as well.
Absolutely. So, thank you so much.
My pleasure, My pleasure. I know I want to help out. I want to use like I said, our podcast is from the anglers to the anglers. It's like we want the sport to grow. I'm always interested in bringing personalities from both the tournament, the social media content creators that want to grow in an organic way and a responsible way. And that's my big thing. I know you guys are just starting off. By the way, you have a killer logo. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
But you guys are doing a great job, in the few month that you already started, and I wish you the best. Joey, I didn't get a chance to give you an opportunity. You wanted to thank somebody else as well, other than what Drew's mentioned?
To be honest, I mean, he pretty much covered it. Our friends and family have absolutely supported us throughout the entire deal, and it's been a phenomenal, crazy ride. The sponsors that we have, the pro staff deals that we have, just seeing the entire deal. I mean, it's been a crazy ride, and I thank every single person that has been a part of it. Every follower, every like, every comment means something. So it's been insane, and I look forward to the future. I mean, it's going to be crazy.
Busy.
Busy.
So once again, go follow Joey and Drew at JD Fishing Adventures. We're on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, any social media outlet out there. You can go check them out. Learn a couple. What was that?
I said, look forward to the video tonight.
I'll look forward to the video tonight. Well, it's Tuesday, so go check it out. It's there. It's gonna be there when you check it's the latest for you. If you enjoy it, go ahead and subscribe to their channel. It means a lot for the content creators when people subscribe and put that bell notification. Again, if you like it, you're entertained, and you care a lot about the kayak fishing community, and you want the kayak fishing community to grow, and you like what they're doing, go follow them. And again, like their videos, comments, and repost them if you can. So again, thank you so much for Joey, and Drew for joining us. It's been an honor to have you here. I look forward to your next videos, and we wish you the best moving forward. For those out there listening, again, thank you. If you made it this far, go check out my sponsor, Douglas Rod. Go to douglasoutdoors.com to check out their full lineup and get yourself a rod, whether you live in Texas. If you live in Texas, we have them at Fun and Sun Tackle. And if you don't live in Texas, or if there's not a tackle shop near you that has Douglas rod, you can order online. Go to the website and find out the nearest local dealer. So again, thank you guys. Wear your PFDs. Stay safe. Have a great night.